I'm actually dyslexic. I just felt exhausted. I just don't want to get my head around that. You don't need the grammar side. You don't need you don't need to learn hiragana, katakana, something for me. So that's, はい、私はキート・エドワです。エディと呼んでください。It is very practical, very conversational, which is essential for me, really, being dyslexic. So anyone who's dyslexic out there or had difficulty in learning at school, and if you have any traumas like I did, this is a good opportunity for you. You can definitely do this.
So about Japan Language Factory, how you actually really start up and also you practice. So after 20 years, you actually really wanted to more improve your Japanese speaking skill, and I really love to help you. And we started was last year, so it's kind of October, right? October. Yeah. So since October, so till now it's almost like June. So what was your experience in the beginning? What was the hard part, and also what was the something? It's you can describe your experience.
Well, I mean, actually, if I go back a little bit further, and then sort of give you the reason why I decided to go with Language Factory, where the motivation was. I mean, I think if I go back, and just let people know that I've always. It sounds strange because now I'm an English teacher, but I'm actually dyslexic. I'm very, very dyslexic. Do you know what I mean by dyslexic? Yeah. I've struggled at school, and obviously now I'm very strictly conversational English, and but my weakness is not so bad now. But I think I have a sort of a trauma about study and about learning, and doing it's interesting how I've always kind of drawn back to teaching. It's very strange. I always ask myself, why am I a teacher? Why did I want to get into teaching? I hated teachers when I was at school. I just hated teachers, and I just can't understand why I've been sort of drawn back into being a teacher. I love teaching. I mean, I'd hate to be a teacher in England because I just don't like the kind of the desk work, and I don't like the typical way of learning. But that was always the problem when I came to Japan and I wanted to learn Japanese. I always sort of had this kind of trauma in my head, and I think I've got to study the hiragana and the katakana, and I've got to study kanji. And if I think to myself, I need about 2,000 kanji in order to sort of get by, and that's what's kind of like slowed me down. And I got lazy, and I just thought, oh dear, no thank you. And then when I saw your advert, and the way I can't remember how the advert was word for word, but you basically said you don't need the grammar side, you don't need you don't need to learn hiragana, katakana. You don't really need, well, it helps obviously, but you don't really need the kanji so much. Obviously it's conversation, and to me, that was really nice to hear that. And I thought, okay, maybe this is something for me. So that's probably the reason why I decided to get in contact with you, was because I just wanted to give your method a try, and it really appealed to me. So I'm really grateful for that. And it is very practical, very conversational, which is essential for me, really, being dyslexic. So anyone who's dyslexic out there or had difficulty in learning at school, and if you have any traumas like I did, this is a good opportunity for you to really put that behind you, and just to you can definitely do this for sure. Yeah.
Amazing.
I think the difficult part is stringing the words that I know together. Sometimes I know what I want to say, and maybe I can sometimes understand what they are talking to me, but I find it difficult to sentence structure. If somebody suddenly calls me and I don't know the topic, then I usually have a problem. My older daughter told me that my Japanese is like a child. So,
はい、私はキート・エドワです。エディと呼んでください。
よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
エドワードさん、出身はどちらですか？
私はイギリス人です。そう、ストラウド出身です。ストラウドはコツウォルズにあります。知っていますか？
知らない。どこロンドンの近く
ロンドン250キロぐらい。
250キロ。結構、
そうだね。
結構遠いですね。
そうだね。
どんな場所ですか？
そうだね。コスワーズはとても綺麗な場所です。あと、綺麗な建物や自然がたくさんあります。
いいですね。今はどこに住んでるんですか？
埼玉の越谷14年ぐらい住んでます。
いいですね。埼玉好き？
埼玉は大好きです。とても便利です。
じゃあ、エルオルさん、お仕事は？
仕事は英会話の先生しています。先生、4人います。
すごい。エドワードさん、社長さん？社長？
私は勝率さです。
英会話教室の名前は？
名前はクイーンズ・イングリッシュ・スクールです。生徒は3歳から大人までいます。ぜひホームページ見てください。もう一つ授業がやってます。もしマーケティングページが必要だったり、ウェブトラフィックを増やしたかったら、私の YouTube チャンネルを見てください。
はい、千尋さん。
はい。
So, how was the first impression on Edward?
My first impression before the master course, he said that he was using the application to learn Japanese, but he couldn't speak Japanese. And even he lived in Japan more than 20 years, and he was struggled to speaking Japanese. During the training, we create the phrases he's gonna use in everyday life. But what is a good thing? He didn't afraid of speaking Japanese to local, and he didn't afraid of making mistakes. His weak point is that his Japanese is not natural. His pronunciation is not like a native pronunciation, and we focus on the pronunciation as well. Because different, he got like a natural pronunciation in Japanese. He gained the confidence in speaking Japanese, and then also he was willing to talk to people at the workplace and the locals and friends, and he gained the confidence to speaking in Japanese.
Eri-san is a really good Japanese speaker and learner, because the lesson we had, he always listened what I said and also took a lot of notes. And the listening is very important, because in order to have a good communication, you have to listen and understand what other people say. So during the section 3, he increased his listening skills and also the communication skills. So great job, Eri-san.
じゃあ14年、越谷を14年住んでます。住んでました。そう
だね。今日は埼玉県来ました。神奈川県でどこ住んでますか？14年間英会話教室をやってます。
A lot of people actually, as a foreigner, a lot of people actually living in Japan, like you, we actually have students, even he's living 30 years. 30 years couldn't really learn how to speak properly, or 20 years. We have a lot. So, and also I'm sure it's out there, still they kind of half giving up. Okay, yeah, I already spent 20 years. It's okay. My job can be done. Everything in English. My wife can talk to me English. My girlfriend only talk to me English. That's okay. But then, like, what is something you can tell the message to them that is how you feel, different? You really can communicate with Japanese, or you actually search, can you speak English? In the person who can speak English only.
Yeah, I think that. I've often heard that friends of mine who can speak fluent Japanese have actually said to me that now that they speak fluent Japanese, they find it even, almost harder to make friends somehow. They said when their Japanese was not perfect, they sounded kind of cute and kind of interesting. So, they found it easier to make friends. So, I just say to people that, if you're not perfect in speaking Japanese, but you can just speak, you can get by, just be confident with that. Because people, it's very kind of, attractive, it's kind of pretty,
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of cute, so it's colorful, and especially if you're going out with a bunch of, Japanese friends, go to the izakaya, and Japanese people love it. They love to have a foreign friend with you, and just be outgoing and enjoy yourself, and just let go and enjoy. And it's your chance to speak Japanese, and you can speak a little bit of English as well, because they'll enjoy that. They like speaking a little bit of English as well, but they're not going to be able to speak totally in English. So this is a chance for you to practice your Japanese as well. And for people who get out there and make some friends, you're going to be so welcome. The Japanese people are really welcome to get you into their group, make some friends, and especially if you go to, I've been involved in local izakaya events such as softball. We've had a little local softball. They're all old men, oji-sans. But I was the youngest in the group, and we had a little weekly softball practice, and sometimes we have a little izakaya versus izakaya softball match. It's really, really fun, and nobody spoke English at all, and it was just a good opportunity for me to speak Japanese.
Great,
So,
you're actually in this community, so I'm sure you
Right.
really talk a lot in Japanese.
Well, it doesn't matter where you live. If you're in Tokyo but actually, when I was in Miyaken, which is really local in Iga Ueno, which is kind of a ninja town. It's famous for, ancient ninja, and, it's a really old town, but there's a lot of people there. When they see you're a foreigner, they take a double take, and they look at you, oh, chila, and they sort of, whoa, foreigner. So, they want to speak to you. They're so interested in you, and it's so easy to make friends with people. Whether you're in a big town or in a city or in a local area, it doesn't matter. You make so many friends. It's really, really easy. So I just definitely recommend people just don't panic, don't get out, don't hesitate. Just get yourself out there. You'll be very welcome. Hook me up, and I'll love to take you out.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you American who live in Japan? So you're actually excited to learn Japanese. But when you started, you realize this is a lot harder than you imagine. But of course, you really want to be able to speak Japanese. You actually can understand what they are talking. You can join the conversation. You can interact them. And you can actually make friends. You can work with them. And you can easily enjoy the life in Japan. Life is only once. Then, of course, you start learning Japanese and hiragana, katakana, kanji, which is 50,000 letters and 500,000 vocabulary, 20 layers of politeness, grammar. Oh my God, this is gonna be a really, really hard. Then you start to become self-conscious about it, like your speaking skills, and stop trying, and your pronunciation, and losing the motivation. So the language learning itself is already really hard. Learning Spanish, French, German, any languages. But if you chose Japanese language, which is one of the most difficult language, of course you feel like you're not making progress enough, you start forgetting, and you feel like when you really be able to speak Japanese. But you're not alone. These are really common problems that everybody face it. And textbook and language apps cannot talk to you. So you cannot learn how to hold the conversation, how to carry on the conversation naturally. So maybe do you want to change the learning method so you can make the much faster progress? You can feel easier to start speaking. So in our consultation, you can learn what is the fastest way to learn Japanese. What is a new learning method to actually give you this Japanese speaking skills. So sign up our free consultation now.